Most people don't know pain like that. They never will. And if they did, it would end them. But the people who dig in, the ones who keep surviving, those are the ones you can't beat. Those are the ones no one can beat. Because once you've weathered a storm like yours, you become the storm. You are the storm.
Escape! Ma'am, can I pay for my Travis Scott McNugget meal with my $19 Fortnite card? One and all, welcome. I'm Nick Muniz. This is Nick's Nonfiction. Today on the show, the start of season 7. Seven seasons. Old comers, newcomers. This is a little thing we do where we raise the vibration every single Tuesday. We get ripped from a man and author, Nick Muniz himself, presenting Ed Mylett's The Power of One More. I went to a bookstore and asked the saleswoman where the self-help section was. She said if she told me, that would defeat the purpose. You are a lot closer to changing your life than you think. You are one more meeting, one more relationship, one more decision, one more action, one more thought from leading the life you desire. The Power of One More challenges you to become hyper-focused, addicted to searching for one mores in your life. Gambling addicts, you hear that? You're one gamble short of a big win. Ed Mylett, he's the truth. He is based. He has a new keynote speaker every single week. Really good dude, you can tell. Whatever race you're running today, he's going to coach you to a faster pace. Bro, 2 years ago, living in Boulder, I wrote It Theory. 10 people on my block wanted to be writers. I call that writer's block. Bro, I'm 1 in 10. I wrote the book. You ready to go to 2025? Let's go! I bought my recovering buddy a motivational poster to celebrate his sobriety. Didn't help that the poster was Wayne Gretzky's. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Sometimes when I talk about something motivational, a fucking GTA gameplay appears under my head. This used to never happen before. And the guy playing it usually sucks at gameplay. Just look at it. I can see it right now. How could you fumble this? Bro, you were driving in a straight line.
About the author, Ed Mylett. He graduated from high school in Diamond Bar, California, attended the University of Pacific in Stockton. Mylett balanced his studies with playing baseball. NCAA Division I, the Tigers. He graduated as a 3-time All-American, leading in stolen bases. You know that's why they had to integrate baseball? Because all the minorities were stealing the bases? Off-color joke, but hey, I'm number 1 in the book-reading Negro League. When the side digger catch feelings, we got a big backlog for the newcomers. My financial advisor once asked me, what's your net worth? I tells him, I don't have a net. The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. Chapter 1, One More Identity. Starts with an Andy Warhol quote. They always say that time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. Come from the Stoic school of thought. Socratic ideas, if one finds themselves in doubt, it is not necessary to find a new place, but to be a new poison. So what's going to happen when you go to this new place? Same poison is there waiting for you. And his name is you.
Hello, bozo.
You're not going to fix something by going somewhere else. You fix it like Andy Warhol, by being someone new. One more identity. Dress up like a goddamn can of soup one day. Is that art?
Industrial society and its future.
Andy Warhol had a couple things right. If you want to change your life, you change yourself. The Power of One More teaches you to combine your gifts with directed intentional thoughts and focused actions. A lot of this, you are your gifts. Bro, it's the only way you can present your presence. Your present, your one gift. Gonna make me go syncretistic to you today? Tism? I got a lot of that. You don't have to be trapped in the same identity forever, okay? If you believe the defeatist shit in the streets, oh my God, we're gonna get nuked. You already lost. This is a 1,000-page psycho-cybernetic book. I could put it in one sentence. Change your self-image. This is what we do here. I just saved you 1,000 pages of reading. If you want to change something, it has to start from within. And that's your self-image. As Ed is saying, your identity, your ego, it could change. It's not an identity crisis. They're going to smack you over the head with the DSM. Multiple personality. I don't want to goddamn hear it, all right? It's your ego. There's deeper levels to this, but we're at season 7. We'll just keep it at level 7 today. We're not doing level 20 truth on Ted Kaczynski's farm. You change it by changing yourself. What exactly is identity? I define it as the thoughts, concepts, and beliefs that we hold as the most genuine parts of our inner being. So this is like the first step of therapy, the first step of meditation. You aren't your thoughts. You are an amalgamation of concepts and beliefs, but if you just identify with that thought in your head, it ain't you. It goes deeper. So stop identifying with the thoughts. I just saved you $200 on a therapy session, 15 minutes in meditation. Your thoughts mean nothing. Listen to me very fucking closely. Your thoughts don't fucking matter. I'm an author, all right? You either write or you don't. I wrote the book. You are identifying with hundreds of pages of thoughts. I am not those thoughts. Thoughts are there to distract you. Like, if you actually want to think, you got to pull out the whiteboard. You have to write something down. Nobody's memory is that good. We're getting serious. Level 7, Nick's nonfiction. Stop with the thinkers. Thinkers out there. The real thinkers are the writers. All these goddamn wannabe writers. This is what I call writer's block. Goddamn writers out there. What are you guys doing? I see you sipping tea in the coffee shops. Maybe you should be writing. Thoughts are masturbation. You can identify with these thoughts. They're thought forms, and they will trap you in an identity. All right, back to level 7. Not going mystical. If you think too much, you will get possessed by your own thoughts. So you got to meditate. Or don't. But if you want to take it to the next level, write out your thoughts and criticize your thoughts and then move them to the next level. Here's the paradox. Many people don't know that they can improve their lives significantly if they change their identity. However, many people aren't willing to take the necessary steps, even when it's in their own best interest. Identity is a trap. It's how culture works. Well, like, man, I identify as an environmentalist, so, like, my political beliefs are now made up for me. Crunchy hippie, hey, I care about the earth too. I'm obsessed with animals. I'm just trying to put the psychological trick out there for you to see. Once you identify as something, even me, the goddamn camper, I'm not no goddamn environmentalist. Because once you join an ideological camp, you can no longer view things holistically. What do you got for us, Ed? Are you willing to sacrifice who you are for who you could be? The answer should be a resounding yes. That's a logical conclusion and sounds obvious, so it's a mystery why lots of people struggle with the fundamental question. You weren't put on this earth to be a bump on a log or a lump of coal on the ground. When your mission is to keep growing, expanding, and learning to lead a full, happy life. When you do these things, your identity will change. Expand and learn. For example, think about your fitness identity. Let's go. Let's suppose you lost 20 pounds at one time in your life. Despite being armed with the best weight loss recipes and workout regimes, a year later, you added all that weight back on, and you're right where you started. That's because when your fitness identity thermostat started, it was set at 75 degrees. It means you're comfortable carrying around 20 extra pounds. The main part of this long-ass paragraph is the thermostat, bro. One more identity. It's just your ego is your thermostat, what you like to set it to. So the gym, you can't bulk forever. You got to expand and compress. You got to be aware where you are in the cycle. This is why diets don't work, because you always snap back to the old temperature. You're waiting for the diet to end. It's going to sound hippie, but you got to have a lifestyle change. There's no such thing as goddamn diets, all right? You can find the optimal food regime. It's about setting your thermostat. Remember this key point. Unconsciously, we always find a way to get back to where our thermostat is set based on what we think we're worth. You got to reprogram your subconscious to your self-worth. I've been saying this joke for, 7 years now? If you got a nervous system, you probably have a confidence system. I did a lot of rock climbing in the previous years. Bro, that's a fear barrier. It's a thing where you got to reprogram your subconscious. The first time you send a top rope solo, your mind is, we're gonna die! And you got to reprogram on the fly. I'm doing a lot of swimming this year, diving. You got to tell yourself, yo, we got more air in the tank. Your subconscious goes crazy. 20 seconds in, it wants to go back to the surface. We can do more. Simply put, you can't achieve 100 degrees of fitness or wealth with a thermostat set for 75 degrees of fitness. It's 2025, baby. Level 7. Let's crank up the heat. Chapter 2. Living in your matrix. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Let's talk about the matrix, the whole chapter. What if I told you that you're already living in your matrix? What if I told you there are already forces at work deep inside you that are slowing down parts of your life, interpreting and reinforcing what you've already programmed into your consciousness? That's what my entire book, It Theory, was about. It. Start talking about the reticular activating system. We've done this in too many books. Let's say you want to buy a blue van. Immediately start seeing blue vans everywhere. It could be 3 lanes over on a freeway moving the other way during rush hour. You're running errands, you're dropping off your kids. You always see the goddamn blue van. It's not that there's a bunch of new blue vans. It's that you never noticed them before. That's the traditional view of the RAS. But the background script that's running in everybody's life right now is nuclear war. There's all type of shit on the news you could get scared by. Pick your flavor of the month. The script running on our software is being injected by Agent Smith. So if you want to take control of your matrix, you got to identify which thoughts those are. Expanding the reticular activating system. The clients, your level of fitness, the relationships you're in, your emotions can be what you want them to be. You need to pay attention to them like the blue vans. So this is level 1 stuff. Stop being anxious. That's a bad reticular activating system. You're focusing on bad outcomes. So just notice it. That's level 1. Level 2, change it. It's easier to say, it's hard to do, but the root of our aversion to change is your attachment to comfort. It's your attachment to comfort that keeps your RAS focused on one thing. And for some people, they're comfortable focusing about bad things. Bro, watch your brain. It's a comfort machine. Go for a meditation in the sauna. Your body wants one thing. Your body just wants to be comfortable. That's the entire brain. So you don't have to do any of this. This is self-help. But if you want to change your matrix, you got to train like Neo. One of the best concepts from the Matrix, bullet time. Being able to slow down time. The concept of slowing down time could be traced back to ancient civilizations. The 5th century BC, Zeno, the philosopher, posed a question. If a flying arrow appears to be at rest in any particular instant during the flight, doesn't that actually make it motionless? Okay, Zeno. Holy shit, pass the bong. What the fuck did he just say? Technically, man. When I shoot an arrow at you, if we slow down the frame rate, technically, the arrow is never moving. One of the motivational books I used to the clip from the movie Wanted, love that movie. Shoot the wings off the fly. I can't shoot the wings off the fly. He fires 4 bullets, shoots the wing off a fly. He took a deep breath before. It's about slowing down your perception of time. That deep survival book, there was a great story about a friend. He's going over a waterfall in a river. So the kid at the last minute jumps into the river, bicep curls his buddy off a waterfall. The kid claimed the flow of the river turned into slow motion. And the other people observing the thing said the kid moved at lightning speed. Okay, so it's the Matrix chapter. I'm not saying that you could stop time like Adam Sandler and Click. It's more like a Western duel. Motherfucker could take 6 shots before the other guy gets his gun out. You compress your perception of time. I'm on fucking bullet time, fam. Helicopter. That existentialist cafe book. Philosophers, they like to call it stopping to smell the roses. I like bullet time. Neo, sooner or later you're going to realize, just as I did, there's a difference between knowing the path and walking the path. We know what to do, but we don't do what we know. You gotta walk the path, okay? You can't study the game. You have to become the game. Ed says, if you're looking for things to be offended by, your RAS will activate. Ed going base. Do you hear that, lib cucks? You want to be offended? On the other hand, if you're looking for things to be grateful for, that's what you're going to find. Own your matrix. Destroy your negativity. Deprioritize comfort. Chapter 3, Principles of Time Management. I got you moving in slow motion now. Going to take it deeper. I'm going to show you how to get 3 days in a single 24-hour block of time. I know it sounds crazy, but it's not. Through our experiences, age, circumstances, and how we see the rest of ourselves, our perception of time will be continuously shifting. Scientists call the mind time something different than clock time. Imagine trying to say that to your boss. You punch out after 10 minutes. Well, actually, that shift to me felt like an eternity. Mind time works differently than clock time. The scientists are saying time is more valuable than money. Money is a replenishable resource. You can always add more dollars to your bank account, but you can't add more time to your life. Bro, time is finite. My boy Tolstoy, War and Peace, the two most powerful warriors are patience and time. Dante, that guy at a furnace company, he said the wisest are the most annoyed by the loss of time. Then Ben Franklin, he said time is money. Motherfucker became the $100 bill. Time, no. Money is time because time is more powerful. It doesn't fucking matter. Our tired brains can't optimally see and make sense of visual, auditory, and tactile input. Our reaction times are slowed, and this makes us feel as though time is speeding up. In reality, it is just slowing down in relation to the rest of the world. So he's talking about if you get your sleep, it doesn't feel like life is going by so fast. Everybody's talking about diet and exercise. Sleep is 10 times more important. No, it's just 1/3 of the trifecta. Our ability to compress time is our ability to bend and manipulate time for the best purposes. Guess what this does for your goals? It puts them in your face like never before, and when you're closer to a goal, you naturally approach it with greater urgency. So the solution? Put more days in your days. Have mini deadlines. He called it the 6-12-6. Now you have 3 days within 1 day. You wake up at 6 and you go to midday. That's your first day. Then 12 midday to 6 in the afternoon. That's a whole nother day. And then 6 to midnight. That's your night day. Bro, it's literally just jail time. You gotta fucking lock in. That's all there is to it. When you change your perception of time, your physiology changes. Bro, I've read crazy stories about people in comas. When they come out of comas, they age slower. And then when someone tells them what time it actually is, then their hair turns gray and their body changed their whole perception of time. Your brain is powerful, people. Ed's second principle of time management: approach time with a sense of urgency. I gave you all those quotes. Time is a warrior. What was it? Time is money. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said, "The common man is not concerned about the passage of time. The man of talent is driven by it." So don't get anxious by time. You got to let that shit drive you. The time is going. Use it! Urgency is the key. From my experience, there's a direct correlation between how fast you'll run versus how close you are to the finish line. Your depth perception affects your ability. But watch a marathon. How is it possible that in the last mile, they'll run a 4-minute mile? It's because you're closer to the finish, and you can change your perception of time and energy. Time management number 3, he says control time. Do you pay attention to what those first thoughts of the day are? The first 30 minutes of your day are critical. That's how you set the pace for the rest of your day. So if you wake up and go on TikTok within the first 30 minutes, you just set your dopamine to a 15-second loop. Very bad. Time management skill number 5, focus on the future. The past is gone forever, but until you let go of it, The past is a thief that steals your ability to dream and imagine. It's the Matrix, bro. It'll steal your bandwidth. Principles of time management. Goddamn Chronos. Chapter 4. Questions to ask ourselves. You ever think about what you think about? Holy shit, he's like Zeno right now. Wait, man, is the arrow even moving? Do I ever think about what I think about? It's a pretty powerful question to ask. It's one of the many questions I'm going to ask you in this chapter, and questions you should be asking yourself. So rather than thinking, or even thinking about thinking, you can observe those two processes. And then your feelings will try to latch on to the thoughts. Simply put, thinking is the process of asking and answering questions of yourself. That's how thought works. You constantly ask and answer questions in your head thousands of times throughout the day. So if you want to change the quality of your thoughts, you need to change the quality of the questions you ask. That's gold, bro. That's the gold for the chapter. Questions to ask yourself. You know, most people, they're going to have the thought, well, I'm hungry. Didn't you listen to chapter 1? You're identifying as hunger. I'm hungry. You're a thought now. You're a thought form. You're identifying with hunger. So we're on level 7, Nick's nonfiction. You got to ask yourself better questions. Food? What would be the best fuel right now? Better questions. Better questions lead to better answers. Better answers lead to better lives. Most people don't do this. But one more. Most people ask questions that make them weaker, less resilient. That anxious bullshit. Most people, they're always like, why can't I control the situation? The Navy SEALs, they're taught to ask the question, what in this situation can I control immediately? If not, why the fuck would you ever think about it? When you ask the right questions, you arrive at the truth about yourself. Unfortunately, looking inside your own life is not always fun. Your inner voice could be the most vocal critic, and self-accountability means there's no place to hide. Eugene Ionesco says, it is not the answer that enlightens, but the question. The questions are more powerful than the answers. If you don't know how to ask the questions, you're never going to get the answer. Bro, asking a question, people don't do it because it requires you to humble yourself. People don't want to admit that they don't know something. So the best way to do this is by questioning the entire foundation of thoughts from day to day. You know, the shamans, you got to do your 5-year recapitulation. Literally tear down everything you believe and start over. It'll flood back to you quick, but this time you could prune your subconscious. Some questions Ed asks himself. What's one more thing I could do to show off my spouse or partner and show them I love them? What's one more way I could adjust my thinking so I make fewer excuses? What part of this situation can I control right now? How is this happening for me rather than to me? What's one more thing I could do to calm myself down today? What's one more way I could become healthier? What's one more thing I could have learned in my life that I could pass on to others? Chapter 5. One more goal. Throughout our lives, we've been inundated with systems, philosophies, and methods about how to set goals to make our lives better. But we are born knowing systems that we don't need to be taught, such as inspiration. I believe goals are energy. Goals are a life force. Goals are a state of being. They are more than a manifestation of ideas, hopes, desires, and dreams that you have inside you. The pursuit of your goal, when properly executed, is the transference of energy into action. So it's a trap to think of desire as either all good or bad, when it could just be a transference of energy. He's getting a little alchemical on us here. You got to use your fear, you got to use your desire, even your hate. Hey, throw some goddamn monoatomic gold in there. Doing your self-alchemy. All of your emotional energy can be transformed. Instead of playing defense, the key is to proactively fill your mind with the right kind of thoughts and thoughts about your goals. So there's a lot of fucking doom and gloomers. They love to run their trap. Gotta leave those people behind in 2020, alright? People playing it safe. People always on the defense. That's a losing strategy. Spend your time in preparation. A way to stop getting demotivated, set standards. You might fail at your bigger goals, but by setting standards, you set yourself up for more success along the way. 6-12-6. Put 3 days in one day, you might fail the first day, but now you have 2 more days still, and you didn't let 24 entire hours go by. You ever had that shit where there's like a pizza on your oven from the night before, and you go, I'll have that slice of pizza for breakfast? Well, I had pizza for breakfast, so I'm going to be a piece of shit the entire day. If you adopt the 3-day system, hey, you lost 6 hours to a slice of pizza that took you in the morning. You still have 2 more days. Change the way you see time. The other reason I believe many statements don't work in the way that they're too complicated. Just think about it as pizza, all right? Elite performers, CEOs, and other highly motivated individuals are results-driven people that are having an inclination and elaborate ways to create goals. Make it fun. Play the game with yourself. Create goals. There's no goddamn millionaire method. The method is trial and error. More goals. Turn up the heat.
This is a certified hood classic.
Chapter 6. One more. We usually do 5 chapters for the newcomers. Chapter 6 today is one more. Ed's keeping it real at the end of his book. This is the most deep one, so if you stuck around, you're getting the deeper knowledge. Ed tells us about his family life. My father was a banker by profession and a hard-working man who never missed a day of work. He was also an alcoholic for the first 15 years of my life. He had a horrible price. He suffered through the disease, and by extension, he paid a steep price. He was collateral damage in a war that raged inside of himself. But ironically, I will tell you his drinking happened for me and not to me. For me, not to me.
This is a certified hood classic.
A lot of people get obsessed with their traumas. Like he said before, living in the past will steal your bandwidth. Definitely you should deal with the trauma. You got to go in there and reprogram the malware. But level 7 emotional maturity, you could thank people for the trauma. Bro, they gave you more resistance. Bro, it's the gym. You just gave me more weights for free. Even more so, my father's alcoholism happened for him and not to him. Woo! Woo! So people want to look at the alcoholic and go, well, you're the evil one. What about that? That guy's getting molested by gin. For example, I learned to read body language, tonality, and facial expressions as a young boy. I first developed it by learning how to read which father would come home from work. Would it be a sober, loving father or an intoxicated, detached father? I got to a point where I could figure all this out by the way he would insert a key into the front door lock. In time, I didn't look up to him because I thought he was perfect. In fact, just the opposite was true. It was his ability to overcome his mistakes and shortcomings that made him even more extraordinary. For him, not to him. 2025, baby. More weight. Ed, dishing out respect. He's a real person. When I was 15, my dad confronted me with one of the biggest one mores of his life. My father gave him an ultimatum. Mother, either you get sober or you lose this family. You won't get another chance. I'll never forget what my dad said to me when he faced me. Eddie, I'm going to have to go away for a while. I got to go pick up some cigarettes and milk. He's a good dad. Eddie, I got to go away for a while. Your sisters, they deserve a better father. And your mother, she's going to have a husband worthy of loving her. But I got to go away for a while, Eddie. So I asked him, how is it going to be different this time, Dad? I'd never seen my dad cry before. But that day, there were tears in his eyes. He said, it'll work. It'll work because I have one more chance. His dad gets sober. Big happy moment. What did we learn today? New identities. The 6-12-6. The Matrix. If you're reading this and you're thinking about quitting on your dream, a business that you've started, or anything important to you, don't put the pressure on yourself to meet the goal for 5 or 10 years, even the rest of your life. Instead, think about not quitting for one more day. There you guys have it. Ed Mylett's The Power of One More. Heat. Loving it. I'm telling you, keynote speakers every week. He's a good dude. Leader of stolen bases. Next week on the show, for the newcomers, in the rare event that this is actually shown to any new viewers, we like to switch it up. Try not to get bogged down in one topic for too long. Self-help, that is a core tenet of the program. Great way to start off the year. Peace!